Hi everyone and welcome to the session today. So for today's class, this is going to be quite a short but quite an energetic style flow. So if you are short of a bit of time and fancy something more on the a little bit up towards the power scale of yoga, then this might be the one for you. We are going to start though on our backs. So if you want to bring yourself onto your mat, bend your knees. If you want to let them fall in together or part them, whatever works for you. Hands on the belly or resting out by the side. Let's take a deep in and out through the mouth, and again in and out. One more time. Gently settling into a more rhythmic style breath now, working into ujjayi or just taking a little bit deeper. Equal inhale, equal exhale. Let's take a few moments just to feel settled. Keeping your eyes closed, we're going to turn the head towards the right. Just taking a little stretch through the neck. And then bringing it back through centre and turning your head the other way to the left. And back through centre. So parting the knees, bringing the feet around mat distance apart and coming into some windscreen wipers now. So taking the knees over to one side, lifting through centre and over to the other. Let's just start to mobilise our joints a little bit, ready for the flow. So gently up and then over to one side. Avoid letting the legs fall on top of each other here. Try and keep a space between the feet. A couple more times. And bringing ourselves to centre. We're going to come into a reclined pigeon now. So hooking the right ankle over the left knee. So we can stay here. You can even use your hand to press that knee away from you if you want, that right thigh or knee. Or if it feels pretty good, you may want to bring the left thigh or shin in towards us. Maintaining that flex through the right foot, so that pressing away with the right knee as we draw the leg in towards us. Lower back, flat to the ground, gazes up. Gently releasing. We're going to unhook the other side. So get yourself set up, flex the foot, press the knee away. How do we feel? Taking it deeper if we want. Another breath. And gently releasing. Let's unhook and then take both knees in towards the chest. We're now going to take the head towards the knees, so lifting it off of the ground. Resting the head and then gently rocking ourselves up to seated, taking the hands onto the knees, ready for some cat-cow. So inhale, head up, tailbone flicking back. Exhale, curling. Inhale, lift. Exhale, inhale, and exhale. Back through centre, hands out in front of us, gentle fists. We're going to roll the wrists 3 times one way, and then reverse the direction, taking them round the other. So keep swapping sides. And then taking the hands out in front, big spider shapes with the fingertips, taking the fingers as wide apart as you can. And let's bring ourselves now into a downward facing dog. So taking the hands down, stepping back with the feet. If you want to take this downward dog a little bit wider than do in order to pedal through the ankles, through the calves, work through the thighs, through our hips and sides. Enjoying that fullness of the breath still. And then when you're ready, gently setting yourselves up into that static down dog. Fingers pressed wide, shoulders rolled out. Soften the knees if you need to for this first one. Another breath. Walking our feet forward, coming into a ragdoll, holding the elbows, little sway, so everything hanging heavy from the hips to the head, sway from side to side. Inhale, rising up, bringing the feet together, hands down. By our sides, take a full breath here, inhale, and exhale. Now let's inhale, come onto the balls of the feet, lifting up through the arms. And with the exhale, heels come down, we're going to swing the arms back like we're skiing, so take the body over the thighs. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Just find the balance. Hands to prayer. Bringing it to heart. So we're going to bring ourselves down now. Squat down. So bringing the bum down towards the heels. Please listen to your knees on the way, and you come as far down as they're going to let you go. So once you're where you need to be, let's take a second or two just to settle. And we're going to bring ourselves onto the mat now, ready for our boat pose. So use the hands if you need to. Come straight into boat. So take the hands behind the knees to begin. Lift the chest, shoulders back. If you want to release the hands here, then we can. And coming into low boat. So extending the legs, lowering ourselves and hovering off of the ground. Embracing that wobble. Lifting ourselves back up into boat. Crossing the legs over, weights forward, you can step. Or we can jump back into our plank pose. Coming into side plank now. Right hand into the centre, opening the body, lifting it through the left. If you need to drop that bottom knee, then do, but keep lifting it through the side of the body. Swapping over sides, so the left one into the centre, opening up, lifting the right one. Keep lifting it through the side. Bringing ourselves back to plank, shoulders over the wrists, inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lift, open the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just connect back with your breath for a moment. We're going to take ourselves into warrior one now. Turning the left foot out, right one comes forward, rising up, warrior one. Remember to tuck those ribs in, so avoid that flare. Gaze is slightly upward. Let's transition to warrior two. So inhale, straighten, the hips move to the side, arms out, settle down. Gaze down those front fingertips. Now what your shoulders are doing, really bring them away from the ears. Sometimes we don't notice they're all up round here. We're going to inhale, straighten that front leg, back on down, back leg. Giving ourselves a little bit of a side stretch. We're going to move into triangle now, so let's inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward. Hand comes down wherever it rests. And then we pull the hips forward, ribs in, open the chest. So we don't want any crushing with the shoulders here. Make as much space as you can. Gaze down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, windmill down, stepping or jumping back into plank. Inhale again. Exhale, down we go. Inhale, lift. Open heart. Exhale, downward facing dog, adjusting. Let's prepare ourselves for the other side. So turn the right foot out, left one forward, warrior one. Maintain that energy, pressing down through that back leg so the outer edge of the little toe is nice and nice and snuggled into the mat. Warrior two, inhale, straighten, hips out, settling down. Inhale, straighten that front leg, back on down, back leg, stretch through the side. Inhale, lift into triangle stance. Exhale, forward, moving into the pose. Making that adjustment. So remember, if your hand is up here to maintain that stack over the front leg, then that's okay. You'll feel it stretch through the legs, a good stretch through the top side of the body here. Gaze down, inhale, lift. Exhale, windmill. Stepping or jumping back. Remember, you can drop to your knees here if you need. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Let's connect. So we're going to do a few little hip stretch now. So let's roll ourselves forward into a bit of a modified facing dog. So stay on the balls of your feet, pressing the hips forward, and try and get your thighs off of the mat if you can. If it's too much, then do just drop them, but keep pressing the hips forward. Feeling pretty okay here, then maybe give yourself a little sway. So we're going to do that 2 more times. So drop the knees, want to glide back, downward facing dog. And again, rolling forward, staying on the balls of your feet, hips forward. Sway if it feels good. Drop the knees, glide back, downward dog. One more time. Roll forward. Drop knees. Glide back. Down dog. Connect with our breath. Lifting up with the right leg, 3-leg dog. We're going to step forward into crescent lunge. So hook the back toes, lift the arms and then settle them into cactus arms. So the elbows press behind the chest. Once you found your balance here, then just maybe let the weight come down a little bit more in your hips to find that stretch. Inhale, lift. And turning to the left of the mat. Hands onto the hips to begin. We're going to come into a wide leg fold now. So take the legs a little bit wider if you can. Inhale. Exhale, halfway down, releasing our hands to the mat. Let's take a moment to extend the spine, extend the backs of the legs. And we're going to take the right hand into the centre, twist and open up through the left. We're either stacking the shoulders or bringing that hand behind our back, trying to grab hold of the thigh or the t-shirt. So you find that twist through the centre, open the chest, roll that top shoulder back. Lifting that left arm back up, winding yourself, and let's go on the other side. So the left one into the centre, twist and open up through the right. Bringing that hand behind you if it feels good. Extending, taking that hand down, and then bringing ourselves to the front of the mat into a low lunge. So dropping the back knee. Try and make as much space as you can between that front heel and the back knee so we can get as much depth into this pose as we can. So weight forward, lift the arms. Use the fullness of the breath just to sink and surrender into the pose. Half splits. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Come onto the heel. Exhale. We're either going to take our hands forward, or if we can touch the ground, bring them down onto the mat. If we are touching the mat, take a moment to really feel an extension, pulling forward with the heart. Then the hands can creep forward, bringing your body over the leg. So we're aiming eventually to get that forehead down to the shin. So we can take that connection with the ribs on the thighs. We'll find our way down there. It may be that your hands are a little bit further back here, and that's okay too, as long as we're maintaining the integrity of the pose. Want that front leg straight. Really extend the spine. We're avoiding curling. Another breath. So lunging forward, we're going to lift the arms, and then the left one's going to come back, and we're going to aim to touch the left ankle, but if we can't make it there, any way up the leg is absolutely fine. Keep the hips pushing forward, open the chest, coming into a back bend here. Windmilling back round. We're going to bring ourselves into plank. Shoulders over wrists, inhale, exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take a moment with your breath. We're going to do that on the other side. So we'll do our crescent lunge. So lifting it through the left leg, stepping forward, arms lift, cactus arms. Settle your balance and then sink the weight down a little bit more. We're going to come into another wide leg forward fold now. So let's inhale, straighten, turn towards the right of the mat, hands to the hips to begin. We're going to take our legs a little bit wider, turning the toes in. Let's inhale, arms come out. Exhale, bring them behind us, interlace, palms together, extend out, open the chest. And then let's dive down, taking the head towards the mat. And then the fist over to the head in front of us. So your weight is slightly forward into the ball of the feet. Take that lift up through the tailbone if you can. Really use that fullness in your breath. One more breath. Gently rising up, keeping hold of the hands. Opening the chest, releasing, low lunge on this side. So dropping the back knee, taking our weight forward. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, hands forward or reaching down to the mat. Take a moment, find that extension. And then over we go, draping our way over the leg. Taking the weight forward, lifting the arms. Now the right arm comes back. Grabbing hold of the leg, weight forward, still opening up through the chest. Let's windmill our way around and come back into our plank. Shoulders over wrists, inhale, exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Take a breath. Coming in to pigeon pose. So right knee, right wrist, taking that back leg back. Coming on your fingertips, just take a moment. Squeeze that back heel in. And lower. We're going to deepen into pigeon pose if you feel ready to. So either staying here or coming onto your forearms or extending your hands out in front. So make any little micro adjustments you need to whilst you're in this pose. So stay flexed through the foot, bring the shin up a little bit further if we need to stay on the edge of the pose. Avoid letting the bum fall over to the right, trying to keep it centre. Use this stillness just to refocus if we become a little bit lost with our breath or our attention. And lifting ourselves up. We're going to come onto our fingertips for a moment. So in a second, we're going to take ourselves up to a 3-leg dog, and then we're going to attempt a 1-leg vinyasa. Well, those of you who want to anyway. If you want to do the 4-leg one, you're very welcome to. So hooking the back toes. When we're ready, rising up, lifting up with the right leg. Either in full down dog or 3-leg dog, we're going to roll forward into plank, lowering ourselves down through chaturanga. And then inhale, we can lower the leg now, open the chest. Downward facing dog, adjusting. And let's come in to our pigeon on the other side. So left knee, left wrist, back leg back. Adjust that shin as you need. Really send that back leg back as far as you can get it to drop the hips down to the mat. Take a moment. Squeeze in the back heel. And lower. And then choosing to settle deeper into the pose if you want. Lifting ourselves back onto our hands, hooking the back toes. So same thing again, moving to 3-leg dog and then doing our 3-leg vinyasa if you want. Please do put that foot down though if that's where we are with this practice. So when you're ready, hooking the toes, extending the left one back, rolling forward into plank, lowering, inhale, lift, exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to bring ourselves onto the floor now. So onto the bum. We're going to extend out through the legs. We're moving ourselves into a forward fold. So let's inhale, lift. Exhale, moving forward. And we're going to hook those big toes with our first 2 fingers. Take a moment to extend, and then the elbows bend, drawing yourselves along the length of your legs. If you're not quite grabbing the toes, then use the floor. And again, just guide yourself forward into the pose. You want to keep your legs active here, okay? Toes pointing up. The breath is full. Gently inhale, lifting up. So we're going to do the wide leg version now. So taking the legs out as far as you comfortably can. So toes pointing up, your kneecaps are pointing up. Let your hands just inside of the thighs. Inhale. And then exhale, start to creep forward with the hands. So you want to really press the sit bones down to the mat. Press the thigh bones down to the mat. Extend through the spine and the heart. As always, avoiding taking that curl through the spine. So for those of you with a little bit of depth in this pose, taking hold of the outer edge of the feet or even the big toes, we can draw ourselves down a little bit more. If you're up here, then that's okay too. Just keep that integrity of the pose. So we're taking that movement from the hips, so it's the belly and the chest that will come down to the mat first. And gently lifting you up. We're going to come into a twist now in this position. So we're going to take the left hand just on the outside of the right leg, bring our right hand behind, take that lift, and then take our gaze back to that shoulder here, avoiding it sagging forward like this, lifting shoulder back. And that's in curl, moving over to the other side. So that right arm is on the left side. Take that lift and extension, find the twist, and over we go. Gaze in the other direction. Gently guiding ourselves forward from here. So we're going to try and come into so a bit of a reverse lift. We're going to use our momentum a little bit to get us there. So I'll demo and then we'll go through it together. So we're going to bring the right hand behind us, and this left one I'm going to use to give me a little bit of movement. So we're going to swing it around, and as I do so, my hips are going to come up, press my weight into my hand, aiming to get my toes to touch the ground. And then my bum's going to come back down, and I'm going to swoop myself round, other hand reaches down, and again the hips rise up, opening ourselves up to a bit of a back bend. We're going to do it a few more times. Bum down, swoop round. Once you've got the momentum, it's a little bit easier. And lower, over the other side. And lower. Last time. And lower. And down we go, bringing the soles of the feet together now, keeping a bit of a triangle, not triangle, diamond shape in between the legs. Hands are going to come inside of the thighs, come on top of the feet, or even the ankles if we can't quite reach. Take a moment just to nestle in, opening the chest, guiding the knees down as we bring ourselves forward. So like we want our chin just to nestle in to that space in the feet. If our shoulders are all bunched up around the ears, again, take that extension, extend the neck. And gently guiding ourselves up. We're going to come on to our back now, squeezing the knees in. I'm going to come into a little twist. So we're going to extend the right leg out, keep hold of the left shin, and then take that knee over to the right as we extend out through the left arm. So your gaze down the left arm to the fingers. Guiding ourselves up to centre, taking both knees in. We're going to swap over sides, so keeping hold of the right shin. Left leg extends, and then taking that knee over to the left as we extend out through the right arm. And through to centre, both knees come in. We're going to lift the head up towards the knees. Lowering back down and finding a little sweet spot in Shavasana. Let's go through a couple of nice cleansing breaths. So let's deep in, taking as much air as you can. And out with noise, big release. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. Letting your breath just gently find its way to its natural rhythm now. Take any little adjustments with the body as you need, just to allow that full surrender into the mat, into this pose. Fully immersing yourself in this moment.